welcome to Steve McDonald's Crafting. I want to test today whether putting my paper clay in moulds and then adding it to my Tea Expert resin curing companion is going to speed up dramatically the amount of time it takes for this to normally dry. What happens is normally I have to wait, usually when I've put something in a mould, because the silicone traps the moisture in and slows it down considerably curing. I normally have to wait a couple of days for it to cure. Now I'm running short of this, look. Gonna have to make some more. That's because I use it so often. I do love it. If you want to know how to make it, my recipe is on my website, which is linked in the description below. It's a free recipe for you to use, and you can make it alongside watching the video that oh look, I spilt that. Alongside watching the video I made on how to make it. So it pushes in there quite easily. I used a spatula to go over this with. That should be nice and clean. And I can pop that in there like that. Now the one I want to do is this one. Now I've got a project coming up soon where I need to make several of these houses, and I don't want them to be too heavy. If I cast them out of plaster of Paris or mastercast or something like that, they're going to be quite heavy. So I'm going to see if I can make them like this by adding a little layer of this all the way around, pushing it in because I want some detail in there as well, and then curing it up so they're actually hollow. Pushing that in, make sure I get the chimney breast as well. So if this works, it'll be great because I've only got a few of these molds, and it will speed these up dramatically on how quickly I can make them, which will make life so much easier. Again, going round, putting a thin layer of this all the way around the inside, pushing it down quite firm, as much detail as I possibly can. Because I've got the extender here for the resin, I'll put that in there like that, and that should then dry. If that one works out, then I can make the rest really easily. The next thing I want to make is some of these pipes. I use these an awful lot, and it's always good to have a stock of these. I make them out of all sorts of things. Sometimes I make them out of resin, sometimes I make them out of clay, and sometimes I cast them in plaster of Paris. But the plaster of Paris ones do tend to be a little bit more fragile, and as a result I sometimes break them. I'm sure this is going to be a lot more robust, less likely to break. You've seen me use this mold before. I made my iPad stand using it, and as you can see in the background, I use this all the time. Look, it's on it now. I love it. There's my iPad stand. If you want to know how I made that, I'll link that video at the end. It is so useful. I've been asked to make some for other people as well, and I probably will, and I might make some to take along to my next craft fair and see how they sell. So once I've got all that in there, and give that a bit of a smooth off, because it's much easier if you've got it nice and clean now. Although you can clean it up really easy with a pair of sharp scissors, or you can sand them down as well. That should do. I put that one in there, move that one out of the way like that. And the last one I want to do is this one. I want to see how much detail will come out. Now I haven't got much clay left, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make this. Oh yeah, I should be able to. Look, it might be a bit thinner, but we'll still give it a go. Now I'm pushing this quite firmly down to try and get that detail in there. It's easy to sculpt detail in there, but I'm not sure how easy it is to mould detail in there. Let's make that as level as possible. That couldn't have been any better, could it? I'm going to have to make some more of this tomorrow. There we go, that'll do. And I'm going to pop that one in there like that. And because we've got that plastic riser, or that silicone riser in there, I'll pop the lid on, and then I'll quickly show you how long I'm going to time that for and leave that on for. Now that's all in there, I'm going to set this for, I think 4 hours should be fine, and I'm going to whop it right up to its maximum temperature and leave that for 4 hours. So hopefully that's going to be almost cured within that 4 hours, which will save me so much time. The time is finished on this now. I can take these out, and they do look like they've cured up lovely because they started to pull away from the silicone molds. Let's have a look. Yep. That one's definitely cured. So is that one. This extra little overpour stuff, it will peel off really easily because it's so thin, because I went over the top of it, as you saw, with the scraper, and that waters this down enough to make it really thin, so it will come off. Look at that. Brick hard in 4 hours. Oh, that's another great use for this, it makes a big difference because normally I have to wait quite a while. And the same for my little house. It's come out nice. This is exactly how I want it. I want it to look quite rustic, and that's why I'm making it with the paper clay as opposed to casting it. And also it's going to be nice and light, so that's worked really well. And if when you take it out of the mould you have got a little damp bit, because actually there is a little damp, and I think that's because it is that was completely covered up with silicone, so the moisture couldn't get out, and a bit of the chimney pot came off. So I'm going to stick that on like that, pop it back into the drying machine now, and it's only this very tip. Put the lid on and set that for 1 hour at full temperature, and then that'll finish off drying that, I'm sure. So that's come out really well. Let's have a look at all the other bits. This is going to save me so much time with my work, definitely. Easy to clear up because I use a lot of this clay. I love it. It's so cheap to make and it works so well and cures really, really well. Woohoo! I'm so happy. See, there is more than one use, and it's because the T-Expert one is larger and it's got this little bit here that you insert into it, which gives you a lot more depth. It has a lot more uses. I'm going to try other things in it as well. I'm going to see if I can get polymer clay to cure in it as well. And I'm not sure if it quite gets to the heat, but if you put it in for maybe a half an hour or an hour, it may do it as well without having to have the oven on. I will link it in the description below, along with everything else that I've used today, including the link to my website where you can get this recipe for this brilliant paper clay free of charge, of course. Please boot that like button and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and ring that notification bell as well, and that will let you know when I've got a video coming out. If you'd like to buy me coffee or get hold of anything else that I've used, then the link for that is in the description below as well. Take care, enjoy your crafting, love this machine. I'll link it in the description. Bye.